What the? I'm at 1,062 kilometers. I have to change my oil. It's the first oil change, as per the manual. Alright, I guess I'll have to do that before I go. So what are we going to need? For the oil pan or for the oil drain plug, going to need a 12mm socket, some sort of drain pan, plus you probably need, don't tell my wife, I have her yoga mat here, or exercise mat. That's good for my knees because I'm wearing shorts. See my nice leg? Anyway, some paper towels. This is a 5mm Allen wrench, or Allen key, and this one, what's this, a 14 for the fill plug here. But oh yeah, you're gonna need a filter too. This is what fits the 250. This is a 2020 model. I think they might all be the same from maybe 2013 up. I'm not sure about the older ones. But anyways, this is what I found. This is a K&N 140. Oh, the other thing which we'll be talking about too, this is the glass oil level. We'll talk about that in a second, but here, let's get the bike set up. Possibly a good idea for you to use so you don't end up getting oil everywhere, and stops it from running everywhere, and plus you can actually see the proper level in the end. So let me get this set up, I'll show you. And the XT250 has these great little hand bars back here. These are attached right to the frame, they're very solid. So you're thinking like, whoa, what's this guy doing? Well, I'll show you. So we're just gonna hook the hooks in here and get this straightened out. Now this is important, the bike is on the kickstand, so it's at an angle right now. All this stuff is centered. Okay, so we're got some tightness on here now. What I can do now, straighten the bike out and continue ratcheting this thing up, and voila, the bike is level. So if you have a skid plate on your bike, which I do, hopefully the oil's gonna run straight down and not get make a big mess all over underneath the skid plate. So there you have it. That's tip number one. So let's get at her. Okay, so I'm all prepared, I'm all ready to go, but there's one thing we need to do, which is probably extremely important. We need to start the bike up and let it run for a few minutes. You have to have it warmed up, folks. That helps stir up all the oil, get all the debris, you know, sort of in suspension in the oil. So let's go ahead, we're going to start it. I'm probably going to run it for maybe about 3 minutes. It all depends on how hot it is out and stuff like that. It's pretty hot here today, so I'm thinking 3 minutes will probably be fine. As long as the engine feels nice and warm after that, we're good to go. So let's go. Okay, I gave her actually 5 minutes, and then a couple times during the warm-up, just give it a little bit of gas, get the oil mixing up. Ideally, if you're out riding, you can do this as soon as you get home, but you might want to still start it up for a minute, because if you have to take some time to set up, you want that oil all stirred up anyways. And so we're good to go. Let's turn her off and get at her. Okay, so I do things, the reason I do these videos, I do things a little bit different than a lot of people, and I think some people appreciate it. Now, most people, what they would do right now is, you know, they would take out the drain plug and start draining the oil. But what I'm going to do first, I'm going to just loosen the fill plug here. We don't want to take it right out. We want to leave that in there, but I'm going to loosen it up so that air can go in there, and that will help drain the oil. So we'll just loosen that a little bit. And that will be good right there. So let's go move around and we'll get the oil drainer out. Okay, so let's get the drain plug out here. I'm on the other side of the bike now. And actually you can see it. So here's the skid plate. Drain plug's there. There is a hole. Oh, if you're interested in the skid plate, it's kind of like a medium duty one, but it seems adequate for what I'm doing with the bike. So let's get this up here. There we go. Okay, so I have it loose. I'm gonna remove this wrench. Just use the socket now, turn it by hand. And hopefully, keep my fingers crossed, the oil's just gonna come straight down into my wife's lasagna tray. So yeah, that's another thing I stole from her. So there we go. Perfect. Well, I'm pretty happy with that, folks. She's going straight down. Now normally I just put this into my oil pan that I have, but I want to inspect the oil a little bit after, and actually it looks pretty good. It looks dirty though. Definitely needs a change. So we're just gonna let that drain for a bit, and then I'm gonna come back and give you my next super duper tip. Something that was taught to me by my dad many years ago, and I think it's a good idea. But let's wait for a bit. All right, I'm back, and people are saying, well, what kind of oil do you use? Well, first of all, you have to use actual motorcycle oil, because it's different than car motor oil. I believe there's no detergents in it. And if you look in the manual, it will actually state this API SG JASOMA. I don't know what the 2 is. In the manual it doesn't have the 2, but it's MA. But that's what you need to use. Don't use just normal car oil. And I'm going with 2050 because that is recommended in the range of recommendations. It's quite hot here in the summer. We're still in the summer, and actually I did pick up some 10W50 today. So I'm going to be using that, once it starts getting below 10 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. Maybe the 50s or something, I don't know. But anyways, I did find a 10W50, so I'm going to be using that stuff in the fall. But for now, this. Okay, so the big trick, the big secret. So the oil plug is still out. So that's, or the drain plug, I should say. So here's our fill spot. And get my little trusty funnel in here. So it's like, what are you doing? The drain thing is still open. Oh my goodness. It's just a little trick. If you pour in just, you don't have to use a lot, but maybe like, I don't know, like an eighth, few ounces. So you just pour this in, and we're going to let that drain through. And what's going to happen, so I'm just going to pour in, about that much, and then what's going to happen, it flushes out the stuff in the bottom of the pan. If there's a little bit of grime in there, some people say this is not necessary, but I've always done it, and a lot of times, like this looks pretty clean coming out of there, but a lot of times, especially with cars, there'll be a lot of nasty stuff that comes out. It sort of flushes it out, right? So that's what I do. Okay, so we drained the oil, and I added a little bit of extra to flush things through. And this, the fill plug, I'm just going to actually set that in there for now. I don't want dirt falling in there when I take this apart for where the filter goes. But let's go ahead and take this filter off, or the cover. Okay, so let's take this cover off. Now I can't stand having oil all over stuff, so I'm just going to take some paper towel, stuff it down in here, because sure enough, oil's going to come out of there. Hopefully we'll capture most of it. So let's go ahead and get these out. Yeah, there's some more there, but we're good. Now I'm looking at this in the sun here. You can see it. I mean, there's a few particles in there. Yeah, definitely. That's pretty normal though. Oh, and we'll do a little bit of cleanup in here, just in case. Yeah, I don't see anything. It looks really good. And then just make sure this surface is nice and clean. There's a little O-ring I was talking about. You don't need to replace these every time. I mean, the word on the street is that as long as you're careful and you don't damage things. Same with the ring on the cover. We're just going to go around here too and wipe outwards if there's any dirt, like you don't, and use a new piece of towel each time just to make sure that no dirt goes onto the ring. But yeah, this ring is fine. We'll get her back in there. Ooh, it does want to pop out though. Something to be careful about. But it's back in place, so pay attention. If it pops out of there, you're gonna have to make sure it's back in place, and then we'll gently get that back on. All right, so let's go ahead and get the new filter on here. Here's the new one, and basically, if you're not replacing this O-ring, there's already a film of oil on there. But if it's a brand new one, you should put a film of fresh oil on there. Let's just get this old one off. It should just pull off here like that. And then if we look under here, that's the open end there. You can't really put this on the wrong way. It only really goes on one way. So we'll set that aside and we'll get the new one on here. So it's just going to sit down like this. Oh, yeah, since this is a new one, there's a little bit of oil here. So put a little bit of oil on there. And we'll sit this here. I don't know if it would be better. It's the first time I've done it on this bike, but maybe it fits in. Yeah, I'm going to say put the filter in there first. Let me just make sure I have some oil on this side too. Yeah, I think it would work best if you just put that in there, get it nice and centered. And this can only go on one way. Now again, remember, there's the O-ring there. That lines up on here. You can't really mess this up. Just be sure that this O-ring is really clean. Okay, I saw a little bit of a medical, a little bit of a metal particle on there. That's to be expected now. It's like, don't get overly concerned about it. So this engine was just broken in. So this only goes on one way. Make sure the ring is down there nice and flush. And let's go around here and just slowly put that into place. And just hold it there. And always start your bolts by hand. We'll do a little initial tightening on this. Okay, so the spec on these, and again, when you're going to tighten stuff, just be gentle. And work in a circle here. You want to try to tighten things up very evenly. So everything's kind of like snug. Then we're going to go to the, if you don't have a torque wrench, it's not a big deal. Just don't overly tighten things. And I'm just looking at the manual here. Basically for this, it says 10 Newton meters. Don't get confused between foot pounds and inch pounds and all that stuff. So I'm just going to go with, I have this set to, let's see, I'm going at 9, so I'm a little bit under, which is perfectly fine. And again, go around, just tighten them up by hand a bit here. And I think they're all even. See right there? It already clicked in. So if you're like, find yourself like struggling, then you're over tightening it. Okay, so I have the drain plug ready to go, and again, start this by hand. Be careful, especially if there's a lot of dirt on your bike. You don't want to get dirt on the plug here. So it says 20 Newton meters or 40, or not 40, so 20 Newton meters or 14 inch pounds. So I'm going to go with the Newton meters on my wrench because it's basically, that's kind of like the only thing I have on here. Alright, so let's get this started by hand. There we go. And that's all there is to it. Not super tight. So you don't need a torque wrench for this stuff. Just don't go crazy. That's all I'm saying. Alright, let's move over and don't forget to put the oil in now. You've gone this far. Be a shame if you forgot to put oil in. Okay, so the bike, according to the manual, takes anywhere from 1.2 to 1.4 liters. It depends if you're changing the oil filter. I guess in US quarts that would be like 1.27 quarts up to 1.48. So basically what I'm saying here, we can definitely add a full liter or a quart, and you're not going to be over full or anything, so let's just go ahead and do that. And one thing that some people are concerned, well, how do I know if my bike's level? Well, you know, you could get a level. And whether or not you have the skid plate on there or not, the frame on the bottom, if you put a level on there, you'll be able to tell if it's level. And that way you don't have to worry about it. That's what I did. So I know the bike is level, so we're going to, once we get some oil in here, I'll get my flashlight and hopefully we can see the oil level in there. And basically there's two little notches. That's the lower line, this is the upper notch. So in theory it's supposed to be right in the middle. But since we're here and since we put a new filter in there, we are going to go sort of to the upper end here. Don't go above, but we're going to go just under there. And then once it gets running, it will sort itself out. Probably be at the perfect level. I need my flashlight. Yeah, here it is. So there's a glass viewing thing right here. And according to this, I could put... Oh, that's way too bright for my eyes. Holy cow. So right now it's basically perfectly half. So we're just going to add in about maybe a quarter of this at the most. Or not even a quarter. I already had some out of here, so less than a quarter. Just go slow. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm at the upper limit. So we're good. Now we have to get our plug back in here. And the spec on this is really low. Let me just double check. It's only 7 Newton meters. And again, if you don't have a torque wrench, it's not a big deal. But what you're going to see here, it's going to take almost nothing. So it just tightened up. And there we go. That's all there is. So if you're cranking things down, you're doing something wrong. So there you have it. Give me a second. I'm going to clean up a bit here, wipe a few things off, and we'll start her up, and then I'll check the oil level. Alright, so we have the oil in, everything's buttoned up, so we're looking good. Guess I'll have to drain the lasagna pan or whatever that is and clean up. Guess, I don't know, I'll try to return this exercise mat. I'm not sure, but I'm sure she won't notice. But all that's left now, we're going to start it up. I'm going to let it run a few minutes, and I'm going to come back and check the oil. It's much cleaner, by the way. So it's flowing nice, and all I'm going to do now is just, you know, make sure there's no leaks, and I'll let this run for a bit, and I'll let you know how the oil level is. Okay, so I ran it for a bit, let it sit, let the oil drain down. I just wanted to show you that the oil is just right, it's right on the top line here. So that's not too high. That just means that that's the maximum it should be full. Ideally, it could be a little bit below that, but yeah, I think we're all good to go. And I guess the next step, I'm going to be using my special mixture to clean and oil my chain, but I'll probably do that tomorrow or the next day. Okay, everyone, take care. Please like, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, because I'll be doing more videos about this bike as it goes along with the maintenance over time anyway. Okay, take care everyone, bye-bye.
All right, where has my husband gone this time? Yeah, that's about right. I don't know what this is or what he is doing out here. Oh, okay, oily rags and stuff. Okay.